Hey guys, so I just finished watching The Mist, and I have to tell you, it's been a long time since a movie has made me feel like that. It's been a very, very long time since a movie has been able to elicit that feeling from me. Now, this movie was made in 2007, right? So you got a lot of, how do I say this, framework for movies that you get now, right? Like there's a few movies 2013, 2015 that this movie reminds me of, right? I have never seen this movie. And even though I know what happens at the end, it still had a profound effect on me. There's some movies where it's like, oh yeah, if you spoil it, what's the point of me seeing it? This is not one of those. This is one of those where even if you were spoiled, it is worth the watch. It's 2 hours. It's made in 2005, 2000, no, 2007. So okay, I don't know how to structure this at all. But let me just say, I did watch it because, I want to see what Isayama's intention was for the ending of Attack on Titan, right? If this is the first video of mine you're ever watching, I talk a lot about Attack on Titan because it was my favorite series growing up, and, the way it ended wasn't very great, so I talk a lot about it, right? And so Isayama had said in like 2013, 2014 that his original idea for the ending of Attack on Titan, his original plan was for it to end like The Mist. And then Attack on Titan got really powerful and he didn't feel like it would be fair to fans. So he changed it. That is what he said. And so I wanted to watch The Mist to see if I could get some insight to what he originally planned for this series. And I got a lot of insight actually. And I'll talk about that at the end of this video. For right now, we're just going to talk about what I thought about the movie. I think it's super good. I wouldn't say it's like, oh, it's like so ahead of its time. It's not. It's really good. It's not super ahead of its time. It's nothing you've never seen before. But I do want to say that I think this movie is the framework for a lot of other movies. And I can see the inspiration that other people have taken from this movie. Well, one movie that comes to mind immediately is the movie called The Circle. It's on Netflix. Well, it was on Netflix. The Circle, where a group of people wake up and they've all been abducted by aliens. They're made to vote people to die. One person has to die every 3 minutes. And so they have these conversations, and whoever is the least popular in the room basically gets voted to die, right? So there's like a racist guy who accidentally shows his racism, right? And so everybody votes him to die. And then there's like a lesbian, and whoever has a bad opinion about lesbians votes the lesbian to die, right? And it's a really good movie. You should watch it, but I can see its roots lie in The Mist. So The Mist is basically a movie about these people, these townspeople, who, endure this terrible storm. And they wind up at this grocery store, just like us with the whole pandemic, right? They wind up at this grocery store bulk buying stuff. The mist flows along and it happens right upon the store, right? It's right in front, it's right in back. The mist surrounds the town, basically. So the townspeople, barricade themselves inside of the supermarket, and they're like, okay, we should not leave. Well, first, they don't believe the main character who's like, there's something out there. There's something terrible out there. Do not go out there. So, of course, a few people try to go out there and they get killed, and then everybody's like, oh crap, main character's telling the truth. We shouldn't go out there. And then there's this zealous religious lady who's like, this is God's wrath. What it really is this conversation about how humanity will react to fear. Now, I wish I could tell you I came up with that myself, but while I was downloading pictures to put in this video, I saw on 2 separate movie posters, the theme was realized, basically. What this movie is saying is that fear changes everything. That is what The Mist is about. The Mist is about fear. Fear changes everything. That's on 2 of the promotional posters. And it's a Stephen King, I don't fucking know, man. Stephen King. It's a Stephen King book, right? And so I'm pretty sure all of this is expressed a lot better in the book because the movie is laughable at some points, but the message is just so strong. So let me just talk about the negatives first, and then we can get more into like the themes and stuff. The negatives. Obviously, the CGI is terrible, but I mean, it's 2007, right? So we have to have some wiggle room, improvements came from somewhere, right? That's why I say this is like the framework. CGI really bad. Fight scenes bad. Choreography for the fights bad. Like awful. It's passable, but it's like, come on, like that's bad. Pretty bad. Like when characters are punching each other, it looks bad. It looks cheesy. Some of the dialogue was also a little, come on now, like who would say that? When somebody says something like, when Plankton walks into the room, walks into the chum bucket, and he's like, "Oh, what was that? What did you just say, Karen, my computer wife?" And it's like, would a character actually say, "Karen, my computer wife"? Or are they saying that for the audience to know who this is? So there's a lot of Karen, my computer wife moments, and it's like, come on, nobody would say that out loud. But it's through these cheesy dialogues that I can understand what they're trying to do here. And this is what I want to call the framework for movies like this now, because there's so many movies like this now. But this is the framework, right? It starts really cheesy, and it's like our main blonde, hot love interest type character thing. She's like, I think that people are inherently good. And then the characters are all having this conversation about this out of nowhere. And they're like, no, people are inherently evil. And then another character's like, put enough people in a room, take out the police, take out cell phones, and you'll see just how, like, I don't know, you'll see just how demonic people can get. You'll see just how inhumane people can get. You'll see just how wild, animalistic people can get. I forgot the exact wording, but and that, since it was spelled out so easily, it was cheesy, yes, but I knew what this was trying to be. This was trying to be a conversation about humanity. So it was less about the mist, right? It was less about the monsters in the mist, and it was more about what would humans do when backed into a corner, right? What would humans do when fear, like something so terrifying, something so unknown, is at way? What do humans do? And so there's a lot of commentary about how people look for a leader. There's a lot of commentary about how people look to find comfort, right? There's this religious zealot, and she's pushing Jesus and God down people's throat. Oh, this is the wrath of Jesus. And she's making human sacrifices and stuff. It's crazy. It gets crazy. But the things I really liked that this movie did was, first of all, the commentary it did make. While being corny, like two things can be true at once. It was really corny, but at the same time, I feel like it had a lot to say, and especially by that ending. Can we talk about the ending for a minute? Can we talk about the ending for a minute? And no, I don't just mean the part that everybody spoiled on, oh, the dad kills his son and then kills the love interest girl and then kills the other two people in the car. First of all, there was 5 bullets. There, oh my God. Wait, I just realized something. There was 5 bullets. The dad is the biggest coward of them all. I just realized that. Oh my God. The dad is the biggest coward of them all. Okay, that just hit me. Like, I'm having like a aneurysm right now. The dad is the biggest coward of them all. And even though he seemed to be the most like brave, the most headstrong, brave character out here fighting this, out here yelling at people, out here reprimanding people, he was the biggest coward of them all. When it came down to it, when it came down to the murder-suicide at the end, he couldn't kill himself because he was scared to. Oh my goodness. Oh my, that is the theme. Fear changes everything. And so at the end of the movie, after he kills, okay. Let's go through the film and talk about every time fear changed everything. From the beginning, the black guy, the neighbor, right? He was like, okay, well, we're going to leave, right? We're going to get out of here and we're going to go and we're going to leave. I don't think it showed what happened to them. That group of people who left, maybe they lived. Who knows? I don't know. I didn't see them again. No, they probably lived, honestly, because they weren't scared. Oh my God. The black neighbor guy, asshole, he probably lived when he led those people out of the supermarket. Fear changes everything. When the woman was telling the people, the people in the supermarket, hey, does anyone want to walk me to my car? My kids are at home alone. I can't stay in here barricaded with you people. Does anyone want to walk me to my car? Everyone was too scared to. Everyone was too selfish and too scared to. She even asked the main character, do you want to come walk with me to my car? Anybody want to walk a lady to her car? Everybody was too scared to. And we see at the end that that lady was rescued by the military. And then we get to the end. The end of the end. Where the murder-suicide is supposed to occur. They saw the biggest creature they had ever seen. One as tall as a few buildings. That thing was huge, and it was like rattling the car at the end. That scared me. And oh my god, that is the point in the movie. The song choice was just so good. I lost all of my hope along with the characters in the car. I was like, I get it. I get why they did it. I get it. And I knew that because I was spoiled for a long time of how this movie ends. I knew that everything's gonna, quote, be okay in the end, right? He's gonna get rescued pretty much at the end. I knew that. But I was like, based on the information they had, I honestly think they made the right choice, right? But this movie, the whole theme of it is fear changes everything. If they had not been afraid of that huge animal they saw, which who wouldn't be afraid? But fear is what compelled them to kill themselves. If one person in that car would have been like, hey, let's just see if we can fight through this, right? They ran out of gas. That sucks. That's horrible. Let's go see if on foot we can find a shelter or something to live out our last moments. Anything. Fear changes everything, right? The military guy, all three of the military guys who were in the supermarket, two of them were scared of the townspeople, who were in the supermarket with them, their reaction to the news that the military was involved in these creatures being around, that they basically opened a portal to hell or whatever, right? So they hung themselves. Fear changes everything. Oh my goodness. And you just have to imagine that the people who stayed in the supermarket, they all probably survived too. Wow. So the fear that our main characters had, the old lady, the old man, the guy with the gun, our main character, and our blonde lady, our love interest, right? The fear that they had made them leave the supermarket. We're not going to wait until this thing kills us, right? Which is, I feel like, brave. It's a paradox. I think it's brave for them to venture out. But at the same time, their fear of what could possibly come also is what made them venture out. And it's what ultimately got them killed in the end. It was that fear. Oh my goodness. What a new layer opened to this movie that I never would have even thought about. Anyways, there's so many components about this movie that's like video essayable, but I'm not going to touch that unless I'm like super bored or something like that. Like, there's a lot to be said about this movie, and if you want like the extended cut of my opinions or whatever, my thoughts on this movie, I'm one comment away. Just tell me that you want me to do that and I will. But like, this is the overview of my thoughts about it. Everybody in this movie was a coward. Everybody in the supermarket was a coward. The girl who didn't want to have sex with the military guy that she loved her whole life, she was a coward. Had she stayed in that room and had sex with him, she wouldn't have gotten bit by the bug. She wouldn't have died. The cowardice of the townspeople, the fear, basically made them kill that same guy ultimately in the end and feed him to the monster. And that the soldier guy who got killed and fed to the monster, his fear is what got him in that predicament in the first place. His fear to leave the army, his fear to stand up for what's right, his fear, just his cowardice in general. And so this movie's making a real statement about fear, and it tries to tackle like human nature, what humans would do when it seems like it's the end of the world, when doomsday is at stake, right? They cling to religion, they become fearful and scared, and they just turn into barbarians, basically. Which I believe. I agree with what this movie is saying. And fear really does change everything. It really does. So if those people had just kept their cool, like they were saying in the beginning of the movie, oh, just be calm, just relax, this will be over soon. Even though it looked really bleak, had they done that, a character in the movie says, hey, we have plenty of food here, let's just stay here. Had they done that, maybe all of them would be alive. Maybe all of them would be alive. In the end, had their fear not overcame them, our main characters wouldn't have committed suicide, right? And then we wouldn't have got, if our main character wasn't a coward, he would have committed suicide with them. And so in this movie, it's so interesting the fact that the three people who were with him, the four people, right? His kid, the love interest blonde girl, and the two old people in the back, those people in their cowardice, right? Okay, you can't really say much about the little boy, but in their cowardice, they chose to kill themselves. And in the main character's cowardice, he chose not to kill himself. And so when he gets out of the car and he's like, come on, eat me, kill me, whatever. Sure, he may have meant it, right? But he's still a coward. He couldn't kill himself. He couldn't kill himself. And so when the footsteps and the growls were encroaching, that's when he finally gets out of the car. Okay, yeah, kill me, ha ha ha. Like, you don't have a choice at that point. It's going to kill you regardless. If the military wasn't there, he would have been dead regardless. He was too much of a coward to kill himself. And the other three adults in the car were such cowards that they did kill themselves. And I'm not saying coward like, oh, shame on you, right? Like, I probably would have done it too in that predicament. But just going along with the theme of the movie, right? With the big message that fear changes everything. I'm applicating fear and cowardice. I'm using them as synonyms, pretty much. The fear of the people is what led them to kill themselves. And the fear, actually, I think that was cowardly. What the main character did. That's actually cowardly. Like, in terms of its actual definition. Oh, there's only 4 bullets. Oh. No, there was 5. He threw the other one. Watch that final scene again. He throws the final bullet. There's 5, but he's too much of a coward to commit like the other 3 have. 4. Well, 3. The little boy didn't commit to that. How tragic was that, right? He opens his eyes right as his father's about to shoot him. Oh my goodness. That broke me a little bit. I had the emptiest feeling when the opera song was playing because I felt that hopelessness. Oh my god, no movie has ever brought that feeling out of me so to that degree. That was crazy. But anyways, if you stuck around, you probably stuck around to hear about this Attack on Titan BS, right? Isayama's original ending, right? So now, what do I think? What do I think about it? Okay, so how this relates to Attack on Titan's ending, right? I'm pretty sure. First of all, look at these 2 images. Don't these look eerily similar? Don't these look eerily alike? Oh my god, AoE? Oh my god, copium? But no, this is the very much gut-wrenching scream of this main character after he killed his family, pretty much, his found family, and his son. After he kills his family, he does this screech, I am torn apart on the inside. He does this wail. And this is Eren in the rumbling opening, and he's wailing. And the theory was that this is Eren after the rumbling, right? Because there's steam coming from his neck and stuff, right? I don't know. I don't know how the whole theories and stuff with that go for AoE, but let's just get back to the ending. Isayama's original ending had to have been Eren killing people closest to him. It had to be. And now if we're word for wording the mist, right? It would be out of fear, right? Kills them out of fear. Out of fear of what? Out of fear of the world retaliating. Out of fear of, not being able to complete the rumbling. It could be out of fear of a lot of things if we were taking it word for word. But more or less, Eren was to kill the Alliance in the original ending. By the way this movie ends, by what Isayama has said, that is what the ending of Attack on Titan should have been. The main character killing everyone closest to him in this big doomsday event, right? In the mist, it's this portal to hell being opened up. In Attack on Titan, it's the rumbling. So both endings were supposed to end with this catastrophe. And then right at the last minute, the main character kills their family, or the ones closest to them. Now, there's no other characters that fit that description other than the Alliance. That's it. Like, that's it. That's what Isayama's ending was supposed to be. And so if you've created this story where it was supposed to end in a catastrophe such as that, right? And you've got all the themes pointing towards it, right? Like, let's take The Mist, for example. When the little boy looks up at his dad, the main character, and he's like, hey, don't let any monster get me, okay? You have to promise me, no matter what, you will not let these monsters get me. And the dad says, okay. The payoff there is when at the end the dad shoots the boy. He's keeping his promise. He would rather kill his son with his own hands than let these creatures eat him. Because of a lot of things, but the payoff to that scene where the little boy tells him that is him killing him at the end and not allowing the monsters to eat him. So there is a plot thread, pretty much, a breadcrumb, we'll call it. And so what happens in Attack on Titan is we have a bunch of these little things, right? We have a bunch of these little plot threads. We have a bunch of these little key moments that, since he changed the ending, they have no real payoff. One of which being Historia's plotline, right? Another of which being the parallels with Historia and Ymir. No payoff. Another of which being these, themes of fathers failing their children. And then Isayama saying in an interview that this series will end with someone surpassing their father. And it's nowhere to be found. Where is it? Right? So, like, all of these things build up. And, like, in The Mist again, there's a character that says we should get out of here before this lady, this religious zealot, gets a cult following, because she's been proven right a couple times, right? We should get out of here before this lady gets a cult following and LOL starts doing human sacrifices or something. Haha, teehee, right? And it's like, why would they go that far, right? That's what you're thinking. But in the end, that's exactly what happens. And that's the payoff for that being mentioned. Now we have all of these, oh, Historia, oh, I won't do what people tell me, woo, 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 right? You have this, oh, Eren, I will kill anybody who tries to take my freedom away. Oh my gosh, freedom is so important. Oh my god, I won't leave Paradis's future up to fate. And then at the end, where's the payoff? There's no payoff. In fact, it's like reverse payoff. Like, it just makes, it's nonsensical. And so for him to end the series in a way that betrays pretty much the meat and potatoes of what he previously laid out, everything that made Attack on Titan interesting, everything that set Attack on Titan apart from other things, everything that made Attack on Titan similar to The Mist, for him to go back on that and betray that because he got inspired by Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, right, last minute, for him to go back on that, it's disgusting. Like, it sucks. It's horrible. It's bad storytelling. And it makes everything else that we've seen so far, all the political stuff, all the interesting stuff, all of the philosophical stuff, right? The questions about life and nihilism, and one person whose main goal is freedom, and they're just so driven by that force that they become unable to see, I guess, the smaller picture, it would be called, right? The bigger picture would be, hey, all Paradisians are free. The smaller picture would be, this freedom costed me everything, right? Like that Thanos meme. That's a smaller picture. And that would have been the beautiful irony of Eren's character. Where in The Mist, it's kind of the same, where this guy fails to see the bigger picture, right? Because he can't. He doesn't know the future. He can't know the future. He can't know that the military is right around the corner. And so he jumps the gun and he kills his family, pretty much. And then right after, he basically gets rescued. And so it's like, in you guys' collective fear, you made an irrational, not irrational, because it makes sense. I would do it too. You jumped the gun, pretty much. You jumped the gun and you killed yourselves before trying to figure something else out. Instead of fighting for your life a little bit more, a little bit longer, you jumped the gun. And now the main character has to pay the price for that the rest of his life, right? And so if the series was to end like The Mist, it would have to have that key component, right? I would think. You would think it would have the most important component of the mist. That is the reason it's still talked about to this day. The mist is still referenced. Even in like BoJack Horseman, there's an episode like the mist. Everyone gets trapped underground and they have this whole religious zealot thing, and it's human nature for people to lose their shit, right? And I feel like this movie is telling you to grow a pair of balls, I think. Grow a pair of balls, and not in the way like, oh, be the hero, right? Not be the hero, because that was our main character. Our main character was focused on being the hero. Oh, here's somebody being dragged by a monster, let me help them. Oh, here's this happening, let me, the story is saying, well, the movie, The Mist, I think is saying, like, fight for your survival at all costs. And since the main character and his family failed to do that at the very end, they all pay the worst price for it, right? The 4 other people die, obviously, and the main character has to live knowing he killed them seconds before help arrived. Seconds before help arrived. And so, again, Attack on Titan was definitely supposed to end like this. Isayama said it himself, right? So, and just with the themes of the story put in place, and then the dialogue of the characters, Eren, Historia, Eren Kruger, the dialogue of the characters just lets you know how this series was supposed to end, and it's just 138 and 139 are so off-putting because they betray everything that was established previously. And so if the story was supposed to end like The Mist, he should have followed through and gave us a complete story and not 2 different stories, in my opinion. And, you know, you could say, oh, AoE, oh, love, oh, da-da-da, like, it's a melting pot of everything he was inspired by. I hope to God. I hope so. I really hope so. Like, I'm fingers crossed. Let's hope that's what he's doing. Because as it stands now, the ending is nothing like The Mist. Besides having this doomsday theme, which you can get that from anything. Like, that's Avengers too. Like, why even say you're inspired by The Mist? Why even say your ending was going to be like The Mist? If it's nothing like that at all. If the only similarity is this big doomsday event. And even those aren't really much alike in themselves. This one's a portal to hell, and this one is a character ensuring his freedom. So it's like, these 2 doomsday events are completely different. One is being brought on by the main character, and one, the main character is fighting against it. So how exactly is this ending like The Mist? And everybody's like, oh no, he didn't change his ending. He didn't change it. All the ending defenders, right? So now my question to them is, how exactly is the ending like The Mist? How is 139? How is 138 in any way, shape, or form like the movie The Mist? How? 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 I'll wait forever. It's not. And that's just the note I want to leave you on. The original ending was supposed to be with more main characters dying. Most, if not all of the Alliance were supposed to die in the rumbling. And if AoE is to happen, then this is what I expect to happen. The only way for Isayama to be true to his word and make the ending like The Mist, as he originally planned, his words, not mine, he originally planned to make the ending like The Mist, and 138, 139 are not like The Mist at all. In fact, they're probably the exact opposite of The Mist. I'm gonna need ending defenders to explain to me how they are alike, if they are, right? I think it's pretty evident that the ending was changed. Unless, of course, AoE is coming. And this was his plan all along. Love, woo, right? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, that is it for me. Goodbye. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you, comment, like, and subscribe. And comment. Like, you guys have stopped commenting. Why? Change that. Make sure you comment and subscribe. And like if you liked anything I had to say. And make sure you rewatch The Mist if you feel compelled to. Especially the ending. And then explain to me how those are alike, AOT and The Mist, at all. But anyways, if you haven't already, for the last time, comment, like, and subscribe.